Hello, everybody. Welcome along. My name is Benjamin Bloom. This is the Benjamin Bloom Football Channel. Please leave your bias at the door and join us for dearly departed League One edition. It's the entire opposite of the Premier League edition we do of this show. We're not looking at the teams that have gone up from the Championship. We're looking at the teams that have gone down from the Championship. And to do that, we need the man across from me who's been very, very disrespectful about my shirt already off the call.
Oh, absolutely. He came on the stream and he started talking to Mike, sorry, and Ben thought I couldn't hear him, and I just went, sorry, I just can't hear you over that shit. It's a bit too loud.
Absolute liberty, snappers.
We all have a loud shit. No, but it's good to be on, Ben. And again, a couple of interesting weeks, especially regarding, the teams that we talk about. I think, a lot have gone right for a lot of teams and a lot have gone wrong for other teams. So, it's going to be an interesting couple of weeks. I think we're starting to get to that stage now of the season where, the form stage is gone and we're getting into kind of,
muscle memory, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. And I tell you what, my spreadsheets and my hands gone in the, I tell you what, I think I was going to work the other day and I started about 9:30 doing some prep and needed to be gone by 11:30. I said to my mother, I went, well, I'll be fine. And she said to me at 11:20, don't you need me to go? And I'm like, I got into it so much, I almost forgot about everything else.
So the teams Knappers is referring to, you can see them up the top there. We are talking Wycombe, Sheffield Wednesday, Rotherham, Wigan and Charlton. Of course, because we always get asked, we'll talk a bit about Fleetwood or we'll talk a bit about Ipswich at some point. And Ipswich are indeed up against one of our dearly departed today. Great stuff. I can see lots of stuff coming in the comments. I can see some Rotherham stuff and some Wigan stuff. So I might save them until we get onto that. But hello to, there's some hellos there. Napper's mum, classic. Leeds 20, recovering from an operation. Good luck to you, fella. Leeds 2021. Afternoon to Captain. Now, afternoon to Lee. Any other hellos? There we go. Liam will tell us about MK as well, who are going great guns. We need to say a big thank you, though, Nappers, first off. To Bits, who is our sponsor on this show, follower of Ipswich for 40 plus years over land and sea, and Norwich, the legendary Bits, is helping us out. And you too can help us out via Super Chat and Super Sticker. And of course, I will split them in half and we'll support Knappers and his great work he does on League One. Now, you already mentioned it, Knappers. Some good results. If we ping up the table, you will see some of our teams, Wigan, Wycombe and Rotherham, all in the top six there, 1st, 5th and 6th. Scroll down a little bit further and you'll see Sheffield Wednesday down in 13th. Bad little 3-game run for them. And Charlton had the dubious dishonour of being below Ipswich in the table. I mean, how about that, Knappers? Let's go to Wigan. Outstanding Wigan. 4 wins on the trot. Off they go to Accrington Stanley, which we both know is a horrible place to go, isn't it? And Limbs in the away end, 4-1 victory, just gone and swept them away. Watmo, Keane, great finish by Michael Nottingham, actually. Strikers finished that one. Charlie Wyke getting 2 goals. But Knappers, they are in superb form. You can see only, joint fewest goals there conceded along with Sheffield Wednesday and well above the 2 points per game standard. We should point out, in deference to Sunderland, that it is goal difference keeping them on the top. But brilliant stuff from Wigan. Ben, your reflections on that Accrington game and just the great start for Wigan in general.
It's a superb start. And, they brought a lot of players in the summer. And they've gone from kind of no expectation to high expectation. I know a lot of their fans, I know Katie comes on here a lot, is, a lot less expectationist than I am on them. But to go 6 unbeaten after a disappointing start at Sunderland, to go and win 3 home games and get a draw and go and win 2 away games at Accrington and Charlton away from home, they are 2 very tough places to go. I know Charlton aren't doing too well at the moment. We'll come on to them in a minute. But Accrington, to go there and win is a good result. To go there and score 4 goals is outstanding.
They battered them, didn't they?
Absolutely. And I think the best thing is to get the 3 points out of there is Will Keane, again, outstanding. I think that's 4 goals and 2 assists now for that man. Charlie Wyke getting up and running, getting a brace. I think last year, a lot of his goals came when he scored 2 or possibly 3. So he's really good for that. And, overall, this Wigan side, they've got attack. They've got a great defence. Watmore popped up with a goal from centre-half the other day. They've got a stern midfield. They've got squad depth. They've got a young, hungry manager. And they've got the fans there to do it, to cheer them on when, they are possibly a little bit tired and they need that extra man. And, I like this Wigan side. They've got everything. And to sit on 16 points out of 21 is unbelievable. And, the table doesn't lie. They've still got, a couple of tough games to come up. They've got, Cheltenham at home up next. And they've got Wednesday.
Ben, it's got to open out those fixtures, surely, because you pointed out right at the start, Wigan, difficult start. Surely there's a nice run coming somewhere.
I don't think there's any such thing as a nice winning League One. There really isn't, because, I think Wigan, the thing is with Wigan, I think when they play better sides, you've got the players on the counter, your Callum Langs, your Charlie Whites, your McLeans, your Will Keanes, the types of players that can, hurt teams. And then it's going to be interesting to see how they do against the poorer teams. But, they've just beaten Doncaster 2-1. They've got Cheltenham, Sheffield Wednesday and Gillingham up next. You'd be hoping as a Wigan fan to get possibly 7 points would be, I'd say, an outstanding return, really.
Absolutely. Tony's gone in deep here. Rob Kelly joined Wigan as a coach in the summer. Track record is excellent, including Forest, Leicester and Cos. Is it a coincidence Wigan doing so well? Probably the best coach in the league. And compare and contrast. I don't want to make this about Ipswich. This show's not about Ipswich, where Liam Richardson's got help there, and Paul Cook doesn't have the assistant manager, which is a big story in these circles. But do you think that's been an important hire there, Rob Kelly?
Absolutely. And I tell you what, sometimes your assistant or your coach at a football club, like look at Peter Taylor with Cloughie at Forest. He literally did everything. Cloughie just did the talking.
Chris Wilder and Alan Neil recently as well. Yeah.
But, Rob Kelly, outstanding. He kept Barrow up last year. He didn't want the manager's job. He doesn't want to be a manager. He likes being that number 2. He likes being the coach, being kind of like the nice guy. And I think it works for him. He's a hard-working guy. Obviously, he does watch Cos vlogs, so I do know that that puts him at a bit of a
man of fine taste. Yes,
that's why he's so good, because he listens to me.
There you go. We'll take credit. So does that mean by proxy, because we're on a show together, that I can also take credit for? But basically, Wigan are top because of me. That's what we're saying. Yeah.
You're welcome, Kate. Enjoy your promotion, eh?
Yeah, there you go. So look, we'll get back into Wigan when we look at the weekend's fixtures, but just a brilliant start, and a big tip of the cap from everyone to Wigan. Let's move on, and who are we doing next, Knappers? We're doing Wycombe Wanderers, we're going to do Wycombe and Charlton at the same time, Knappers, because obviously they played each other. We were looking for a bit of a bounce back from Wycombe, and they very, very much got that. But Charlton's poor run continues. Gareth McCleary showing that quality at this level. I know he's getting on in years, but certainly when you look at the first goal, the ability to stick those ones in from outside the box and just getting on the end of that cross. It was a header back across the goal, wasn't it? I think to stick the second one in. Charlton get a goal at the end. It's one of those classic ones, Knappers, where you score at 2-0 down in 92, and the supporters kind of sort of half cheer, and they're like, "Well, okay, it makes no difference, but yeah, nice, well done." But not great. One shot on target there for Charlton. It's a poor run to a poor start to the season. Just that one victory down there on 5 points from 8 games. Wycombe with a game in hand on MK and Plymouth above them, and of course, Gareth Ainsworth was out in force with his beautiful hair. I shouldn't say that with my haircut, should I? At Pep Guardiola's Manchester City. But can you do us 2 for the price of 1 here, Knappers, and talk to us a bit about Wycombe, where I assume you're going to be very complimentary, and Charlton, where you're probably going to be raising some issues. Get your comments in for Knappers on both of these 2 teams. Take it away, fella.
I think I'll start off with Charlton. I think, again, I've seen loads of comments saying Atkins out. And if you're sacking the manager after 7 or 8 games, and by the way, he'd only came in with 7 or 8 games, left last year pretty much. So he's had what? I think 20 games in total, 22 games, something like that. He's not really had a good run. And then I look at Charlton's next 3 games. They are brutal. Portsmouth at home, Bolton at home. Bolton were the best side away in the division.
Oh, tell me about it.
and they've got a tricky tie, away at Fleetwood. Fleetwood are much better at home than they are away. But then you look, those last 3 games, a 1-1 against Gillingham on Tuesday, 1-0 up, should be seeing those games out. 2-1 at Wycombe, 2-1 at Charlton. If you're conceding 2 goals a game, you're going to lose games. And you said it all around the World Cup. Title win tournaments. Defences win tournaments.
Yes, agreed. Yes.
Defences win, championships and can get you in the playoffs. If you can win 1-0 or even draw 0-0, it's not a bad result. They scored 7 goals this year. 4 have been from open play, 3 from set pieces. So you really need to start scoring. You really need to get more goal scorers on the list. The top goal scorer has got 2 goals in Jaden Stockley, and then the others are all on 1. So there's a long way to go for Charlton, I think, and Atkins needs time. But Wycombe, I can't spread enough on my love for Gareth Ainsworth enough. I think he's a terrific manager. I think the way he gets his side organised, and he said a lot about Wycombe. And we said last week, are we worried for Wycombe after they went 2 games without a win, Oxford away and Sunderland away? That just shows you how far that football club have come under Gareth Ainsworth. And to bounce back against Charlton at home, that's 3 games at home now, 3 wins. There's only 2 sides in the division to win all the home games so far, and it's them and Sunderland. Sunderland played 1 more, though. And McCleary again. What a player, getting on, getting towards his late 30s. I think that's 4 for the season now, and both have been braces at home. So, and we can keep up that record, maybe try and get, to 15, 20 goals. But, the next 3 look, quite good for Wycombe. 2 away games, that's probably where they need to improve on, isn't it? Really, they've only won 1 of the first 4 there, but only lost 1. I think it's MK Dons, Shrewsbury, and then they come back to Morecambe at home. So maybe try and get a couple of points on the board. 7 goals from open play this year out of the 10, 3 set pieces. So let's just see. This Wycombe side can go all the way, in my opinion. 14 points. Let's have a gander at them.
Tony, a couple of questions if you don't mind. You just mentioned you rate Gareth Ainsworth highly. Why does he reckon no bigger club has ever come in for him? There was a big, strong link with Preston at the end of last season after Wycombe went down. Obviously, Ainsworth had played for Preston. Do you think, and look, don't shoot me down, whether fairly or unfairly, perhaps people view it as, like you said, well organised, set plays, use what he's used. Do you think he's typecast as that kind of type of manager? Although it hasn't done Ishmael any harm at Barnsley by being a kind of direct manager. Or is he getting too attached to one club where he becomes the Wycombe guy? And we've seen with someone like even Eddie Howe, where he's just the Bournemouth guy and no one else has taken him. What do you think?
Yeah, I can see your point, but you also look at Sean Dyche's job he's done at Burnley. Sometimes you can go to a club, you can love it, he's happy there. The Wycombe fans love him. The players love him. You just hear him in an interview and the way he talks about the players. I remember when we scored a goal against him late on a couple of years ago, and it was it could have been offside. He forgot about what he gave. He said, fair play to Fleetwood. He went to the end. I'm so proud of my players. And that's a proper manager. And I listen to that and I'm like, he's the only manager that I've seen that doesn't call out referees, doesn't call out, he's like Clough, really. He'll speak positive about he plays in the press. You know what I mean? And it's like, well, you'd want to play for that. You know what I mean? You want to run through a brick wall for that. And why you've got that, why would you want to go anywhere?
Agreed. Sean, unfinished business would take a huge offer, I suppose. Yeah. And I mean, the comparison I would make is Russ Martin going to Swansea, where we all kind of looked at it and thought, he's done well at MK at the top of League One and developed something. And yeah, Swansea, and they've been in the Premier League, but the parachute payments have stopped. And, certainly people were saying, would he be better off to stay there. And I suppose, particularly with a championship job as well, unless you get one of those plush ones, you might be better taking a run at it with a League One club, and especially with one promotion. Their big game in the Bucks derby this weekend. We will come on to that later in the show. Jamie echoes what you're saying there, Knappers. A lot of Adkins out from Charlton fans on social media. We perhaps don't take that totally seriously, but it's kind of understandable. People get antsy quite quickly, don't they?
In football, like, a week's a long time in football. They go and win the next 3 games, and he's the best manager since sliced bread. You just got to look at. We come back to all the time, the Blackpool last year. Barnsley a couple of years ago, I think they were, bottom. In the first half of the season, they went into the playoffs and went up. So, there's still a long way to go. We're only 7 or 8 games in. If we're still in the situation in 7 or 8 games, maybe let go. But you cannot sack a manager this early into the season.
No, absolutely. Let's move on. We got another winner. And you mentioned about Bolton being a very good away team. Well, Rotherham turned up and beat them at home. Excellent win for Rotherham. I'm just looking at the numbers there. Look at that. Typical Paul Warren jobby, that one. You love to see it. But 2-0 victory there for Rotherham. Ben Wiles with both the goals. The first one was very, very different to the second one. Outside of the box for the first one, just nodding the second one in. And again, fairly or unfairly, but we questioned and said, oh, look, okay, little slip, a defeat and a draw in there. Rotherham set high standards, 1 winning 4 before then, but back up to 6th for Paul Warren and Rotherham. Great result, Knappers.
Absolutely. And, we speak Bolton are the best side away from home. Second to that, Rotherham, 29%,
oh, okay.
29% of possession, and a great result at Lincoln in the week, by the way. Lincoln is a good point away from home. They probably deserve more. So to bounce back after conceding 4 to Fleetwood, to go and get 4 points out of Lincoln and Bolton, in my opinion, that's a very good return. Then Smith and Wiles have been their star players this year. Wiles is on 3 and Smith on 5. Other than that, Ladapo and Sadler on 1. So maybe the criticism for me on Rotherham, get goals from different areas because, Wiles and Smith can't always score forever. And if Smith goes in January, I know there was a comment in before asking about that. But again, the next 3 look fairly nice for them. Crewe and Wimbledon at home, followed by Cheltenham away. If they can go and get 7 to 9 points out of it really kicks them on and really kind of settles that early season syndrome. It would kind of go 4 or 5 unbeaten and it builds momentum. If you're not, winning games, draw it. Are they tough games? Absolutely. But, they've got the quality in that side to do it. It's a great result away at Bolton. And just that home form worries me a little bit, the New York Stadium. They've lost 2 of the first 4. I think they've actually lost the last 2 to Sheffield Wednesday and Fleetwood. But, I think they're going to be fairly consistent at home and fairly consistent away. I don't think it's going to be like a Wycombe where they're winning all the games at home and, dribs and drabs away.
Yeah, very good. I was just popping that comment up there. Where do Rotherham go if they lose Smith in January? And there you go, Ben. I just got Smith's numbers up on the screen. Started all 8 games, 90 minutes per game as well. So he's in there the whole time. 5 goals, 3 team of the weeks as well. An assist in there. Look, I think there's another comment as well before you come on this. Said it all along, if we lose Smith, Ladapo ain't good enough to do Smith's job for a big unit, doesn't put himself about. Look, it's nice to have a star player, but yes, to what extent do Rotherham then rely on Smith going into January?
They hugely rely on them, but I think a lot of teams have a strike. Stewart for Sunderland's massively important. He scored his 5th goal the other day of the season. He's their target man. He's the big bloke up front. Then you look at Wednesday. They've got options all over the place. They're quite lucky. Probably just need that one key man really. I know they've got Gregory and they've got Adrenian and Shadupo, those types of players. Wigan are the same up front. Will Keane, Callum. They've got a lot of options. I tell you where Rotherham should go. There's 2 options for me. There's either Cole Stockton at Morecambe.
Oh, yeah.
Go and get Ched Evans. He's not wanted it. Preston. I tell you now, Ched Evans, biasness, I am probably being a bit biased. When I watched him at Fleetwood, back to goal, the man was unbelievable. The way he brought things into play, the way he, held up the ball. And we weren't the same player when he wasn't in the team. And, it's just unfortunate we didn't get rid of Joey 1 month earlier because we'd still have Ched Evans at the football club. So, I think he'd do a lot of stuff that Smith can do, maybe not quite as good, but Ched Evans is a very good striker at this level. He'll get you 10 to 15 goals. He holds up the ball. He runs his course. Go and get him. If Smith loses, he won't cost too much. Yes, he's in his 30s now, but for a year or 18 months, he'll do you a job.
I love the shout for Stockton, especially if there's a windfall for Smith. I suppose the only positive thing for Rotherham fans worrying about Smith going is the lad that Borough have now got in on loan from Sporting in Portugal, Spora, has started pretty well. So it might be that they're not in the market, because I don't know who else was linked, but that was the big link. Dennis asked you, Knappers, do you like Paul Ward? I thought everybody liked Paul Ward.
I do. Like Ainsworth, I love him. I think he's a likeable bloke. I like the way that he signed his players, goes out for, a drink with them, just casual. I like the way he manages. Sometimes I think he's a bit stubborn in games and he won't change it. Thought against us there was opportunities to change it, maybe possibly change the shape to hurt Fleetwood. But overall, you can't question a manager that's won 2 promotions. Yes, he was unlucky to come down, but he gave you a fighting chance, last season to stop up. So I really like Paul Ward. I think he's a likeable bloke. He speaks well. He uses his players right. He signs well. And like he said, I agreed with what he said about Smith. He's probably worth about £5 million to Rotherham, because there's nobody better than him in League One for what he does. He scores goals, back to play, unbelievable. So who are you going to get that's better than him for a similar price?
I love the way you put that. It's the value of the person to the club as opposed to someone else, and that's a very, very good point. And if the value to you is exponentially more than it is to someone else, you need to keep that guy around. Right, let's talk Sheffield Wednesday. Bit of a disappointing one for Wednesday. Don't want to be disrespectful to Shrewsbury, but I suspect they would have been targeting a home win in this one, especially you see up there with a 3-shot from goal from 12 yards from a player of 30, but it was a 1-1 draw. Look at that. Saido Berahino, and he's on the score sheet as well. I've been very interested in your thoughts on Saido at League One level and whether Darren Moore can be the first person in the known universe to get a tune out of Berahino, who was so highly rated, wasn't he? But again, we've said it many times. Strong 11 for Wednesday. Some big names in there, but you can see Ryan Bowman sort of scrambled the equaliser, and then Wednesday in the second half, not managing to turn the screw. Looks like they had a lot of the ball, but 2 big chances to 1. We know one of those is the penalty, don't we? But didn't really do the desired in the second half, and disappointing. And look at that goals scored figure as well for Wednesday, Knappers. Not good when the expectations are so high. And 3 games ago, we were lauding them up at the top of the league. What's your take on Wednesday?
Well, I said to you, something else didn't seem 100% at Wednesday. The winning games now, could that be paper over the cracks? They were getting a lot of opportunities, balls down the side, crossing into the box when I personally watched them. And there's no one there. And I'm like, ooh, they play a better team here. They could struggle. And they obviously beat Rotherham. But then Morecambe away, 1-0 defeat. Plymouth away. Plymouth, by the way, is a tough game to go to, losing 3-0. I know that's a bad result, but Plymouth could be in the top 6 by the end of the year. They've got 2 very good strikers in Ryan Hardy and Luke Jeffcott up front. And then they stopped the route 1-1. You can see, they haven't lost, but they haven't won in 3s. And Sheffield Wednesday should always be, we haven't won the game. Never mind, we haven't lost the game. So I think as soon as they get back to it, they'll be okay. I think they've only scored 6 goals all season, but they've only conceded 5 goals as well. So there's praise for them, at the back. But going forward, they do need to improve. So will that mean they concede more? Probably, but they'll be okay, Sheffield Wednesday, going forward. I think they've got a fairly good team. The squad depth We say it every week, don't we, Ben? That there's going to be a time where 5 games, every team will have a 5-game blip this year, just because of the way it is. It's a weird season. Fans are back. Squads aren't quite as big as they used to be. There's going to be a 5-game blip for every team. Are Wednesday on that now? I bet their fans certainly hope so. Get it over and done with. Probably the best time to go on it, because you can go on a good run now and build momentum into Christmas, into the busy period.
It feels like as well, there seems to be like a number of pretty much new teams where, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 players have come in. I'd kind of look a little bit into the squad. I know maybe not necessarily into the first team at someone like Wednesday. Jez, don't think there's much wrong with the Owls right now. Just need to click into place, particularly up front. Hope it happens on Saturday. It's that classic one, Knappers, isn't it? Where if you keep the defensive record and start scoring, you're laughing. But sometimes there's a balance thing, isn't it? Where maybe your attacking balance isn't quite right, and all of a sudden you shift that too much, then you start conceding as well. So it's a fine line for Darren Moore, isn't it?
It is. And Darren Moore, has been very consistent at Doncaster, and it was always, he always scored goals and always played good football. It will come for Sheffield Wednesday. There's enough quality in that side. They've got enough depth. They just need to find a strong 11. Need to stick to that 11 and go forward with it. I think that maybe a couple of changes needs to come in. Maybe, possibly change the shape. They are a bit kind of similar, the way they kind of play a 4-2-3-1 a lot of the time, or a 4-3-3, and teams can possibly work them out. I'd tell you something, they could go with a 3-5-2, really. Get maybe a Lewis Gibson in there, who I really highly rate. Get me on the left-hand side of a back three. Iorfa and Hutchinson. And then you've got, your Palmers, etc., out on your wings. And then you've got your midfield 3 and your front 2, which I think they need, really. But it'd be interesting to see where Sheffield Wednesday go from here. Darren Moore, need more goals, need to possibly just change it up a little bit.
Yeah, it looks like from the input we're getting from the Wednesday fans in the chat that they're quite happy for now with Darren Moore in there. So we'll see how that all moves. That is our roundup. We're going to have a look at the games coming up at the weekend after this. If you're enjoying this show, then why not check out Championship 365?
The only area to find Benjamin Bloom, the Second Tier Podcast, and myself, Ben HD, all in the same place.
We'll debate the key topics and interact with you, our community of subscribers.
And we'll be releasing 2 exclusive weekly videos.
So visit www.network.planetsport.com.
Championship 365, 3 creators, 1 community.
There you go. Go and get involved. Championship 365. Little collaboration thing we got going there on the Planet Sport Network. We'll do all Knappers plugs at the end of the show. In the meantime, keep your comments coming in. It's been really good in the chat today. Knappers. Adam agrees with you. Hitting at 3 at the back. Gibson took a knocking training. Hopefully we'll get some game time. How much pressure is Darren Moore under at Sheffield Wednesday to get them up this season, Jamie? Like quite a few managers at some quite big clubs, a lot. And the clock is ticking, isn't it? Berahino, the Ravel Morrison of League One. I think Lee's hit the nail on the head there with that one. I agree with that comparison. Let's have a look at the weekend then, Knappers. Let me try and flag these quickly. I should have done this before the show. Our fixtures. There we go. Where's Wycombe? There we go. MK versus Wycombe. Right, let's start with Wigan then. They are our leaders, so we go with them first. Wigan at home to Cheltenham. I think we're in their no mugs category for Cheltenham, who are up in 9th. Did Cheltenham play in the League Cup this midweek?
They did, and they lost to Preston. So again,
extra game, yeah. How do you see this one going then, Knappers? Wigan, Cheltenham.
But they've won the last 2 games now, and it's, I think Oxford they beat on Saturday, then, they beat Charlton away. So, to sit 9th after this stage of the season, on, 11 points, it's a very good start. Cambridge again started well. Morecambe come up. All the 4 teams that have come up, it's really refreshing to see that are having a go early on this season. Normally there is a bit of that bounce, but it's definitely weird to see all 4 teams doing well. Cheltenham will go at Wigan, but Wigan, the quality they have in their side is unbelievable. And it's like, Cousins, Naylor in the holding midfield. It's like they don't get mentioned because of all the attacking players that they have. And then they have a great back four as well. Derek, where at right back is possibly one of the best for his position, in my opinion. And an interesting start for Wigan. Amos in goal is a very good goalkeeper. He's had the least saves to make this season per game. He only has to make 1.9 saves per game, which is a very good sign for Wigan. Means that they're not conceding many chances. So if they can keep that up, they've got the firepower to nick one and keep a clean sheet. So it's a really, really good sign for the Latics.
Home win?
Yeah.
I thought you were going in that direction. Let's move on. And we've had a lot of talk about this game. MK Dons versus Wycombe, which must be the Buckinghamshire. Is Milton Keynes still in Buckinghamshire? Because I live here in Bedfordshire, not far from Milton Keynes. Look, I'm probably completely alienating the chat here with my lack of geography knowledge of these counties around here, considering I blooming live here as well. This is a big game, isn't it? Look, MK third in the table, Wycombe in fifth. Clash of styles maybe as well. Should be a good one, shouldn't it?
It should be a very good one. I like what Manning's done at MK Dons. I think they've got 15 points this season. MK Dons, 11 of those are when they've conceded the first goal. So
wow.
Whoever can, if Wycombe were 1-0 up, you don't know what's going to happen. Wycombe normally are very good at keeping hold on to leads. Forget Tuesday against Man City, that doesn't count. Normally quite consistent, will hold on to a lead and grind it out. If MK Dons go ahead, how will Wycombe respond? Wycombe normally respond very well. So it'd be interesting to see that game. I think it could be a draw in this one. I think it could be a good game, maybe 1-1 or 2-2. I think both sides will be up there in the top 8, top 10 this year.
Let's move on. And Rotherham, where am I looking? At home to Crewe. Is that coming in one of your nice fixtures analysis, Ben?
It is, but I think Crewe have got, since that win last weekend, I think they've, against Burton, it's a very good win that, and I think it gives them a bit of a lift. On Tuesday, they were horrendous against Morecambe. Morecambe deserved the win, tactically outplayed them, and Dave Artell just looks kind of a downbeat beast of man at the minute. He really does, just doesn't know when those goals are going to come from. Rotherham at home, they should be getting a win, really. I can see them winning it 2-0, getting a clean sheet for Rotherham at home, a win as well. I think if they get those two things, I think they're up and running. Yeah,
agreed. Sheffield Wednesday, here we go, because they're playing my lot. And we're expecting, I think they've already done 20,000 tickets for this. And Wednesday, obviously, good away support. And you might be able to plug a video when we talk about teams away support as well in your answer there, Knappers. Ipswich versus Wednesday. And Ipswich have got the indicators on to turn the corner after beating Lincoln. But tough one here with maybe the biggest club in League One and another of the big ones as well.
Absolutely. Two of the teams I had in my top 10 in the best away fan bases in League One that I uploaded yesterday. Which one did I rank better though? Again, Wednesday need a win, and Ipswich, I'm going to be interested to see how they do, because they've always been, every time they've played this year, I've always bookmarked Piggott scored. Is he up and running? Burns has scored. Is he up and running? They got a point here. They came from behind here. They scored it, and it just never happened the next game. That win, crucial. That clean sheet, crucial. You could see what it meant to Paul Cook, whose dad sadly passed away in that week, and then you could just see the way he just lifted his fist to the sky. I actually saw your owner, Ben, go to the away fans and just celebrate, and that mood now has probably gone from down there to up there. So it's going to be interesting to see how they start. I think if you're a Wednesday perspective, you want to silence the crowd the first 15, 20 minutes, try and keep hold of possession, keep it frustrated, and try and nick a goal. And I think a point would be good for Sheffield Wednesday, but I think if you're an Ipswich fan, a point is just like, oh, here we go again. I think Ipswich, they want to win games now, and they won't take anything less. I think, in my opinion, I think it'll be an Ipswich win now. I think it'll be a 1-0 Ipswich win.
It's a difficult one because there's Doncaster on Tuesday. I think if you gave Ipswich a win against Doncaster, the fans would probably be happy with a point. But obviously, you're then looking into the future for that. My hope as an Ipswich fan is that this maybe lack of attacking balance for Wednesday means we get a tight game, which I think plays into Ipswich's favour a little bit in respect to the fact they've been quite easy to play through, and against teams that are, sort of got their pattern of play up and running, Ipswich have been easy to score against. So the fact that Wednesday haven't been scoring is hopeful. I think the conceived wisdom is falling on a draw from this end, which I will take if Ipswich can then go and beat Doncaster. But Knappers, they'd still be without a home win. And look, it's nearly October. So, there you go. Finally, we got to do Charlton, haven't we? Have we done all the other ones? Would Wigan? Yes. Charlton, you already mentioned this one. Charlton versus Pompey is not probably what you want going up against the Cowleys, but have a look at Pompey. Look, they're 5 without a win. I don't know if that extends back any further than that. Last 5 games. No, it can't, because they won the first 3, didn't it? So 5 without a win for Pompey. Not an easy fix, this one for Charlton.
No. Portsmouth in the last 4 games only had 10 shots on target. I know 6 of those have come in the last 2 home games, but Portsmouth have been pragmatic and not been very good this year, in my opinion. I think against Fleetwood, they weren't the greatest. Against Plymouth, they weren't the greatest. Against Cambridge, they were horrific, really. Embarrassing at times. Charlton are the same. I think this could be literally an early 6-pointer. Both managers came into us the back end of last year, need victories, need to get up and running. 0-0.
0-0. It's probably one of those ones where it's not actually an unhelpful 0-0, is it?
No.
But brilliant stuff, Knappers. Right, if you've got any questions for the man alongside me, get them in now. And I'm going to ask you a question, and I'm going to ask you to tread very, very carefully because there are legal ramifications to this, and we don't want to say the wrong thing. But some possible problems at Fleetwood with an investigation. Well, let's just call it a financial investigation and say no more. Without libeling you or me, what's going on at Fleetwood, Knappers? Get your questions in, please, guys, whilst he's answering this one.
I was at work yesterday. My phone was in my pocket, and I just hear buzz, and I'm like, "Oh, it's all right. I'll wait after." And I hear another buzz. I'm like, oh, and not another picture come out of me in a Blackpool shirt or anything like that, or something along that lines. And I'm like, oh God. And then I just read the tweet, Fleetwood in the mud. I'm like, hang on a minute, what's happened there? Then the price of football or something like that tweet, Fleetwood owed 21 million to BES. I'm like, well, I could have told you that 5-6 years ago, because, Pilly puts money from BS into Fleetwood, and that's how he's done it. And all of a sudden, apparently, I don't know what's happened, but he's in court over it, and it's over 21 million quid that he's laundered from business to business, apparently. So I really don't know. I'm confused looking at it. If anyone can, Tony will probably know more about it than me. He's probably in the chat, but it doesn't look good at all. And how Fleetwood will cope with that Andy Pilly slush fund, I don't know.
So we're very much in allegedly land. Look, we had the same thing at Ipswich, where essentially the debt built up and built up and built up, and like you saying, "Oh, I knew all this 5 years ago." We would kind of say, well, unless he calls the debt in, he essentially owes the money to himself. So he's not going to come after himself for the money. And we obviously got very lucky, especially looking at the Derby County situation, where our owner racked up the debt and never called it in. So if it's a situation where Mr. Pilly can, afford to rack up that debt and never call it in, obviously, and there is no proof or evidence of this, if there's been some nefarious movement of money from one way to the other, which I think is the accusation, then that could be problematic, and potential sanctions, again, like you, Knappers, I don't know what they would be, but certainly concerning, isn't it?
Absolutely. And you don't want to see your club, with those types of losses. I know it's been a COVID hit world, but the club needs to be more sustainable. And thankfully, we've reined it in this year, and the budget has gone down, which it finally needed to. We were spending too much money. It was ridiculous. We were spending money like it was confetti.
Tony, thank you very, very much. I think that was the aforementioned Tony. £5 on the super chat. Really enjoy these guys. Shows guys your knowledge is second to none. Well, I will hold my hands up there and put the credit. Actually, I need to do that the other way. Put the credit the other side because that's why we have them on. But very, very kind. Of course, if anybody does super chat, we will split that money, which probably isn't really fair on Knappers because the knowledge split is probably much more like 90-10 in his favour. But what are you going to do? He agreed to that. There we go. All right, let's do some questions here. Thoughts on Fleetwood's season so far? Knappers, middling, but could be redefined if Mr. Pilly's in the mud.
I'll tell you what. We're 8 games in now, and we've played, Sheffield Wednesday. We played Rotherham. We've played Portsmouth. We played Lincoln. We played Sunderland. We've played, Plymouth and Cheltenham. And we got 8 points from those 7 games. So I think it's a very good return. I think we're 4 unbeaten now in the league, which is a good return. Simon Grayson's done a very good job so far. I criticised this appointment heavily. He sent it the ship last year. He's done a good job so far this year. So
you love Simon Grayson now?
No, I wouldn't go that far. I would never go that far.
Do you like him more than you like my shirt?
Just. I'll tell you what. I'll say this now. I'd rather have Grayson than Joey because I tell you something now. I always have to watch Joey's interview to see what's he said this week. How what they're going to pick me on? Like what's someone going to say? Oh, we beat you because of this. Like look at what he said about Ipswich. I think he called you average or something like that early on in the season. He said that about Portsmouth. Said with Grayson, he's not going to get like. He's like a football cliche, you know what I mean? He's experienced. He'll just go, yeah, it's going to be a tough game today. They're a good side punch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
and you analysed it, Knappers, and he said absolutely nothing.
Exactly. And I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, what have I learned in this? I can't listen to his interviews anymore. I just have to sleep. Which I was, really.
QPR forever. Who are the danger men's ones to watch out for at Sunderland? Asking ahead of the cup game. I didn't keep up with this. Have QPR got Sunderland in the Carabao Cup then? I presume ones to watch for Sunderland, and I imagine there'll be a few here.
Absolutely. Stewart, up front, scored 5 goals this year. I think he scored 3 headers as well, which is a very good return. Elliot Embleton in midfield has been like a new signing for them since going on loan to Blackpool last year. Got an assist against Fleetwood the other day. Aidan McGeady, he's still 35 now. Then you've got, your Dennis Serkins, the goalkeeper who's just come in as well, looks, very promising. Your Doyle's at the back. So they've got a very good side. Broadhead up front has been playing a lot in the cup games. They've been rotating. So, it's a good draw for both of you. There's been a couple of good draws involving championship ties. Preston, got Liverpool at home. I'm looking forward to seeing how they do as well.
Brilliant. I've been referred to as Ben the Elder. There you go. Don't be too honest, Ben. Older. You both know League One inside out. Thank you very much, Gurney. We try our best, but I will defer to Knappers on 99% of things. Maybe where Ipswich is concerned, I can help out. But Tony, exactly. 20 million Pilly owes himself isn't really important as he has the cash. He's operating within FFP, doesn't owe HMRC anything. The allegations of impropriety. Yeah, there you go. So Tony's nailed it. That's the issue. And of course, myself or Knappers and this channel is not alleging any of the allegations of impropriety that he'll be guilty. Just if we've covered, I think we covered that, Knappers, haven't we? And we will allow the due process to continue. Anything more here? MK having a setback, new training ground at the National Bowl. I don't know too much about that, but hopefully they can get that sorted out. Ronnie, great matchup for Sunderland. See how they cope with top half championship side. Yeah. If they play the first team, then I totally agree with you. But sometimes we even see League One teams go with the reserves, don't we? Guys, I would say, I don't know if Knappers would agree, that's the best chat stream we've had in any one of these. It's been really, really good today. We will be back and shudder. It's a 3-game week next week, so. Maybe we'll just try and, I know, right. We'll try and ring fence this slot maybe for next week, but I I think I look all right at the moment, but I'm going to look very, very tired at this point next week. But we will be back next week for our dearly departed League One edition. As I always say on here, we only cover 5 of the clubs. If you want to hear about all 24 of those clubs, where do you go, Knappers?
Over to my channel, CODS Vlogs. Again, I do try and just cover League One in general. I'm doing top 10s at the moment. And again, I've not had any managers or anything kind of big to talk about. I know Ben just had a new manager appointment at Forest this week.
We've got an administration and a firing and a hiring in the Championship.
Absolutely. So again, if Fleetwood carry this on, you never know. We could have a bit more to talk about. We always, and we'll have a lot of League One content this season. So if you want to come over, we do a live show just like this, Sundays or Mondays. There'll always be like a notification out on my Twitter, which is FTFC Knappers. And again, there's like a lot of tweets that I do. I kind of, in the live show, I put it into small chunks that, those fans to watch. So, if you want to go give me a subscription, it'd be massively appreciated. And thank you, Ben, for having me on the show again.
No, absolutely. And I always say this, go and support Knappers. As has always already been pointed out, I'm quite a bit older and I've got a bit behind me. I've earned over the years and, I'm in a nice, comfortable position to have a good crack at this after COVID. This is a young guy. Go and support him. He deserves to do well out of this. So just hit that subscribe button and just go and get involved in the super chats and everything. Wonderful as well. Just quickly, if we can we just take this? Nat's asking, is this normal time for League One dearly departed? We don't have a normal time. Knappers gets his shifts in, and pretty much on Monday we start having a conversation, and then we decide when we get. So there won't really ever be. We can't commit to a regular time, but we hope to commit to one show per week, and we'll try and give you at least 5 minutes notice about when it's going to happen. But thank you all for the support. Leeds 2021, QPR forever. There you go. Ronnie's going for 90 points for Sunday. That'd be a fine thing. There we go. Nat as well. Thanks, Jamie. Adam, 2-1 Wednesday at the weekend. Good luck to you. May the best team win, as I always say. Thank you, Jez, as well in the chat there. Brilliant stuff. Final word from you, Knappers.
Yeah, thank you for watching, guys. It's much appreciated. Enjoy your weekend, wherever your team may be or wherever you may be. I'll be off to Cambridge, which is, I think, my 50th out of the 92 I was working out the other day. So 42 more to do. I'm hoping to get to about 55 by the end of the year. I've got Cheltenham, Wimbledon, potentially Barrow all coming up as well. So enjoy wherever you're off. Hopefully your team picks up 3 points and moves up that League One table once more.
Brilliant stuff. Thank you, as ever, Knappers. Thank you, everybody in the chat. And we will return at some point late next week, both looking very knackered, having tried to get through a 3-game week. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Over and out. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button to see more videos from this channel. Hit the subscribe button and to be notified every time we upload. Ring the bell for those notifications to come through on your device. If you really want to support the channel and me as a content creator, I will be eternally grateful if you head over to the merch store and grab something, or support over on Patreon, patreon.com/Benjamin Bloom. Thank you for your time. Go and watch another video.